I think my heart skipped a beat when I saw Khalifa in his Libyan dress, because, well, you know, there's something about cultural dress that makes a woman's heart stop. And when I was invited to go to Libya to meet with other members of the Africans in the diaspora and Africans on the continent in a conference, there was just all of the traditional clothes of the Africans. It was just a beautiful sight for me to see. And then just this last time was the first time that I had seen the Libyan dress, and I think it's wonderful. And it's also wonderful that we can have this meeting and we have a Libyan here. It's very special. Now, as I am literally running away from an email that arrived in my inbox today, and the title of the email is "Your Personal Contribution to Your PhD Program." Now, my personal contribution is that I want the student loan to come through. But can you imagine having a government that provides for the education of its people? That's the kind of government we need. Yeah. That's the kind of Congress and president that we need, that would say that education is so important that we're going to provide for the education of our people. And healthcare. Healthcare is so important that we are going to provide for the health care, not so that everybody can be forced to buy an insurance policy, but that we are actually going to provide for the health care of our citizens and measure our effectiveness not in dollars spent, but in outcomes. Now that's what we deserve and would like to see. We also would like to see our country join into the community of nations so that we represent peace around the world. So it's important for when Paki goes and tries to join the Freedom Flotilla too, it's important that we participate in these kinds of overt actions expressing our dissent from our own current U.S. policy. Policies that promote war and violence and injustice and just plain meanness, and we say that the American people are not like that. So Paki is to be commended for making the attempt and really representing all of us as she made that attempt. Sarah was supposed to, well, I'll start with Don, who's in the background, and Don is my very, very best friend in the whole wide world. And when I was nursing my father, Don came down to Atlanta and he helped me to nurse my father. And you know, it's when you are in these periods of personal loss and people come to you, that's when it's the most special. And so Don came to me, but Don also had the opportunity to travel to Libya. Don went there when we were learning about the Green Book, and that was back in 2009. 9. So I want to say a word of thanks to Sarah as well, because Sarah is just really special. At every stop, there's this whole, the rooms are packed just like this, and everybody knows Sarah. And Sarah has done so much. Sarah is the one who really got me started into all of this. She's the one that got me into trouble. Because Sarah invited me to Lebanon. And I was detained when I came back from Lebanon. I was detained for an hour and a half because they wanted to know everybody I met, why was I there. And Sarah is responsible for the Texas Fusion Center for writing a memo about me and Ramsey Clark. Now, it's an honor for me to be in the same memo with Ramsey Clark. Sarah was supposed to go on this delegation that we took to Libya, but she broke her ankle. And so she was not able to travel at all. I called her like maybe a day and a half before, and I said, Sarah, are you going to be able to make it? And she said, I can't even think about moving. So Sarah didn't get a chance to go, but she's helping me now by utilizing the resources of the International Action Center to help me raise the money so that I can pay back the loan that carried the delegation there. Now, I want to start off by recounting an experience that I had in 2008. Then it was December, and it was the Free Gaza movement that called me on the telephone. I just happened to be at my mom's and my dad's house, and they asked if I wanted to go to Gaza tomorrow. And I don't know why I didn't think about it. It was the first day of Operation Cast Lead, and I had sat and watched U.S. bombs rain down on Baghdad in 1991. And when I saw it happening, it looked like fireworks. It actually was pretty. I don't know if any of you will remember what it looked like on television, because they showed it on television. The U.S. bombing of Baghdad in 1991. And it was pretty. It looked pretty, but I knew underneath all of that, it was shimmering that people were being killed. So I set about and I wrote all night, because I was in the Georgia legislature at the time. And the next day, I went to the Speaker of the House and I asked for a point of personal privilege. It was granted to me, and so I talked. And when I got to the point where I said, and George Bush ought to be ashamed of himself, all of my colleagues in the Georgia House of Representatives got up and walked out on me. And it was at that point that I realized, well, I wasn't talking to them anyway. I was really talking for myself, and I was talking beyond those elected representatives who really in the state of Georgia are nothing but good old boys. And if they didn't get it, or if they didn't agree with me, or if they didn't understand, it didn't really matter to me. I was punished. I had a bill, an environmental justice bill. They, trashed the bill, never saw the light of day, died for a lack of a second.